Peace, HHDG. We're on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. And big shout out to everyone that's tuning in through our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook group, HHDG, which stands for Hip Hop Discussion Group. As you can see on our bottom banner, you can always go to our website to see our previous written interviews, as well as our video interviews, music, merch, and also our upcoming events. This is always made possible through our company, our family, our 5 owners that make up HHDG Media Inc., which are Skelly Top, T. Smith, Rock Vader KB, the Mayor, and myself, Wiki. For tonight, we have a very talented artist, producer, historian. I could probably list a few other things, but historian is the key one right there, because also a collector. So historian and collector almost go hand in hand, but definitely a wealth of knowledge, and that's the main emphasis for our artists tonight. And I don't even know where to start with what's in his mind, the vast amount of music knowledge that he has, the history of people that he's interacted with throughout the years. But I do know one thing: the music that he creates and samples is definitely worth your time listening to. And to go even further, people such as Vinny Paz, Hus Kingpin, Action Figure, who's doing this thing, blowing up right now, Conway, Staten Island's own Jojo Pellegrino, so many more. Chuck and Locke, one of my favorites. These are just a few of the people that he's worked with. I mean, he's also got projects with Lincoln, Nebraska's own Sleep Sinatra, which I got the vinyl over there. I'll go show that later on. And he's a working man. It shows in his production. He's always putting up some ill shorts of production that he's working on. Even in the past, he's interviewed some worthwhile people like Nick Wiz. So again, a wealth of knowledge. So I definitely appreciate being able to speak with him, and we're gonna find out some history of when he grew up and some familiar names that he grew up with. So without further ado, repping Jersey, goes by TCOR, also known as the Custodian of Records.
Hey, Ian. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Thanks for the kind words. I like the introductions. You're a wealth of knowledge, I like how you kicked it off, man.
I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I have no idea how much knowledge you have, but your history is, I think, not enough people know about. So I definitely, being the first time here, I would like to give the listeners, that insight so they can go and start checking out your music as well.
Great.
So, to hold that name, the Custodian of Records, we're going to start off with that, because number one, a custodian knows the ins and outs of wherever they work at. So let's start off there.
Well, actually, it's kind of like a double entendre, and it started. There was like around the time like the early 2000s, and like you had like High and Mighty were like the smut peddlers, and like there was a lot of primarily white artists were doing stuff. You had Mr. Jason and Nabo Rock out in Boston. They were Point Theater ushers. And then you had, Crustified Dibs and RA. And it was I don't know. It's like if you weren't busting your gun in hip hop, you had to be busting something else. You know what I mean? It was like you had to be some kind of like to take on like my background. I wasn't really there wasn't a lot. You kind of adopt that. So it's like yeah, all right. Well, we'll just take the perverted part of it. And the reason I say that to say this. When you pop in one of those old VHS tapes, for the adult films, it would say after the FBI warning or before or after, it would say the custodian of records, blah blah blah, the custodian of records. So all the true perverts know where that. And then I also collect records, so there you have it, double entendre. The thing is with that though, I actually. And abbreviating my name to just Custee, Custee with a period. And I'm kind of abandoning that. I'm going to do a couple, maybe about 3 more projects as the custodian of records. It's a long-winded name too, and I'm abandoning it on the reason that I abstain from pornography. So it's like I no longer embrace that. Like I'm not some goody two shoes or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm still looking for the girls and all that. But it's just I'm not of that. It's not healthy. I don't find it to be a good thing. In society in general. And I'm, like I said, I'm not like some Bible thumper telling you how to live your life or whatever. But that's just one of the things that I cut out. There's certain things I cut out of my life. And so I'm just kind of like pretty soon gonna go with the Custee thing. And I just dropped a loop tape and I entitled it that. So I was just like kind of I was like a nod and a wink, like it's going to that direction. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But also it was like I would say another inspiration for the name was this guy named the Bedroom Wizard. I think he was from Virginia because he did a lot of stuff with like the Super Friends with Mad Skills and Danger Mouth, and you remember them?
Yeah.
Well, of course Mad Skills, but like they had a big crew, big collective. They did an Aaliyah remix or whatever.
Yep.
But they also and I really love this guy's compilation. And I think he was rocking on the SP, and he was doing work with dudes from like North Carolina and the DMV, and like I really love DMV hip hop. You know what I mean? Like that whole area is always dope to me. Like North Carolina, like all over. You know what I mean? Like down south. But I just thought it was a cool name. It's like you know what I mean? The Alchemist. You know what I'm saying? So it was like. I kind of like that name too, so I'm not gonna front. Like, so I was kind of biting off of like the whole depraved, horny, white guy thing, and then also like, and then I was also like not taken off of, but just like, I like the name, you know what I mean? So I thought it was cool, and but yeah, long story short, it soon will be Custee. But then again, it's like that's implying that I'm trying to buy drugs. You know what I mean? Like I'm a Custee, so it's like I can't win in this world, But but that's, I'm overthinking it, man. But to be honest, it's gonna. I'm gonna just shorten it. It's long winded. I'm tired of saying it. I don't like being called T-Core. No, not mad at you, but like you know what I'm saying. I just generally, I'm kind of just like. Some people are just like even like hitting me up like, yo, bro, do we got to put the whole name on there? You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, so there's been a couple of those the situations where people who've said that. And I've been like, you know what? I don't even give a shit anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to curse what's the language situation here? Am I allowed to cuss or no?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it like gratuitously. But like, I just wanted to find out. But that's where those are the origins of the name. Sorry for rattling off, but yeah, that's because it took me to a place when you said that, it also I had to explain the fact that I'm trying to abandon some of that. You know what I mean?
Okay. No, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. And to stick with that real quick, that's how I discovered you, because for a while, all I kept seeing was T-Core on tracks that were either remixes or early production, because there was a time where SoundCloud was my mainstay. I
Oh
discovered
yeah,
so much music there, and I just was always on there, and I would rip.
SoundCloud rapper. Remember that? Everybody used to call people that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's where I discovered you.
I discovered a lot of artists on there, man. Like it was, yeah, SoundCloud. Yeah, now SoundCloud, unfortunately, is like SoundClick.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Temu, whatever. I don't know what's the next big thing, but yeah, man, SoundCloud was that shit for a while, man. And yeah, I had a couple big placements on there, but that's cool you're up there. So I used to be I think I was a plus member for a while, and then
Okay, nice.
then I just went down to like regular, and they would be like you could only upload X amount of time. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was a cool little era, man. I mean, I haven't been on there in a minute, but sometimes there'll be like somebody actually just uploaded a blend of some stuff from like a tape from a beat that's probably like over 16 years old, and he did it over like a Gemini the Gifted One joint, and then he had to have ripped it off of SoundCloud, or I sent it to him, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, man, SoundCloud connected me to a lot of people, and that was the OG, like sliding in the DMs with like trying to work with people, and you know what I mean. That was like kind of the link back then,
Yep. Definitely, similar to the way MySpace was for music and artists.
Mm-hmm. Yes. MySpace, I do remember. Shit, MySpace is so old, I don't even remember like how it looked. Like I just
it was just your page, and
But you could upload music, I believe,
yep.
right?
Yeah,
I do remember doing that, like being
yep.
like, yeah, man, my shit's on MySpace. Now you're just like, yeah. So yeah, man, that was a time, man. That was a time.
Mm. So let's talk about your early beginnings. You explained the name, but what got you into records?
Hip-hop?
Collecting.
Oh, what?
Just music in general, any genre, doesn't matter.
Music?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, as far as like what hip hop is concerned, when I was like super young, there was of course like Run DMC and like Beastie Boys, and but I remember being interested in this movie called Disorderlies, starring the Fat Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna front and be like I ran out and like got their, rode my bike to the store and bought their tape after that. But like I was I was real little, you know what I mean? That was probably like 1987 when they came out. And I just remember being like, yeah, these guys are cool, And then when people would mock, like when white people would mock hip hop back then, rap, they would go, they'd do the human beatbox.
And everybody knew
yeah, everybody would do that. Like, is that stuff? You know what I mean? The stuff. So it was like, that was like, and then there was like other things. Like, I was just thinking about it tonight, like, cause I was preparing myself, and I was like, man, there used to be raps in like movies like Police Academy 4, and it was like Citizens on Patrol, So it's like all these like really cool, like these like campy, like 80s movies would have like rap themes in it. So like, and then you go to like fast forward to like the Ninja Turtles rap, which I think was these guys called Partners in Crime, and so I was like, I was always interested in it, but I wasn't really entrenched in it yet because it was coming from kind of a white suburban background, so I wasn't as so eventually I went to a school all black. I was the only white person in my class, one of two like white kids, and I kind of just immersed myself in that culture like immediately. And by third grade, that was when I really started to like form my taste buds. And like I was listening to stuff like Two Live Crew, and then I was like making up rhymes about how many girls I had sex with, and just like phony, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And I was really into Two Live Crew for a while, and then like 91 hit, and that's when I was like in third grade. And I just remember like, you know, of course there was like, I had an MC Hammer tape. I'm sorry to say, you know, Hammer don't hurt him. You know, I had the tape, whatever. You know, how old are you?
I'm 47.
Oh man, so you're like an OG. I'm 44, so you got a couple years on me, but like you had more of a glimpse at the heyday. So it's like you got to understand, like me growing up, it wasn't like we were getting fed, you know, spoon fed the good shit. You know what I mean? Like we were getting like CNC Music Factory and, you know, all that crap. You know what I mean? So then when I was the only white kid, I guess because of that situation, because of like I also liked hip hop. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna, you know, after school, I'm starting to watch MTV Raps. You know what I mean? And then I'm seeing like Potholes in My Lawn for the first time by De La, and I'm like, oh, I like that, how that loop sounds. I like da 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 da. And I was just like, oh shit, this is dope. And even back then, I was like a beat head. You know what I mean? Because it was all about the beat. So then from there, you know, Boys in the Hood came out, and then Steady Bobbin'. And these weren't the first rap songs that I was really into, but like I'm saying, like I'm trying to like, I want to be as chronologically correct as possible. But I'm talking about like when I'm weeded out there's some bad stuff, you know what I mean, that I'm trying to weed out. But then there was like, my mom did buy me like the maxi single for Chub Rock, Treat 'Em Right, you know. But I didn't even listen to it, so I'm not gonna front. You know what I mean? Like I didn't listen to it. You know what I mean? I was like, this is corny. My mom gave it to me, so it's whack. So, but like 91, you had Steady Bobbin', Ice Cube, you know, Death Certificate. You had Derelicts of Dialect, you know, Ace in the Hole, where I'm hearing you know, MF Doom for the first time, and I'm just like, you know, he's just on the song. You know, I didn't know nothing about no Devil of X or K&D. I just was like, yeah, he's on the joint. You know, it was like Elvis, baby, no soul, or whatever. You know, like I just remember that Ace in the Hole joint. And then I had these neighbors, and they were like real super preppy, like white lacrosse player guys, but they liked U2, but they would also like listen to like Black Sheep and like Brand Nubian. And I remember the second Brand Nubian album came out, and they were playing like the like they would play the intro. Like the first time I heard it was in my my neighbor Greg Donahue's house. And then they started making me tapes, and they would be like Black Sheep, Fever for the Flavor and all that stuff. And then I started like just expanding. And then I got into like, of course, Cypress and anything that the Soul Assassins were doing. Anything that was under that Soul Assassins umbrella, I just got that Muggs had a hand in. I was addicted, you know? And then fast forward to, there was a time where I just was primarily listening to Latino rappers. You know, I was listening to dudes like Curious George and Scotty the Man with the Yellow Hat and Beat Nuts, Intoxicated Demons, 92 when that came out, Reign of the Tech. And that was just like, that was it, like that was it. I was like, and then I found out that the Fabulous Chi Ali was affiliated with them, because then I was listening to that because it was a little kid rap, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's a little kid rap, and it's not ABC. It doesn't suck. You know what I mean? And I was a huge fan of that. The Fabulous Chi Ali, like that was like, I used to love that album, man.
Not good.
Oh, I thought you were about to pull out like a signed copy or something. I was like, cool, man. Nah, man, but just like, just like I started forming my taste buds, and it was like, because, like I immersed myself in that culture. And then there was also like the Ghetto Boys, like Mine's Playing Tricks on Me was a hit. Like, you got to think, man, the hits back then were dope. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a Lady Gaga thing. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the music, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't that the hits back then were actually pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, huh?
It had substance to it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, and then I got into like Public Enemy, Can't Trust It. Like, I'm talking about, like, see, this is the thing with me. A lot of people were like, whoa, I had the original album. I had the first album. Like me, I was a generation after. So people would be like, oh, The Incredible Letterman with K Solo. And I'll be like, well, I went to Nobody Beats the Wiz in Wayne, New Jersey, and I bought Time's Up, the second album. I Can't Hold It Back. Lies, lies, rumors, and lies. So I was listening to different stuff, like the next album they did. You know what I mean?
Because at that time, that's what was coming out when you were listening. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. Like I used to feel like kind of messed up because I would talk to guys and they would kind of sun me. Because that's the thing in hip hop back in the day. You used to have like the elders would kind of like smack you around and like tell you like who is who and who you had to listen to. And I remember going to basketball camp, and my basketball the coach there, one of the like he was like a high school guy, but he was also a DJ. And when I told him I liked Cypress Hill, he's like, oh, they're corny. I like Boogie Down Productions, or and he starts telling me about KRS-One, and I didn't start to get familiar with KRS-One till like I was familiar with him, but I got really familiar with when Return of the Boom Bap came out. You know what I mean? So he had already done like 10 million classic songs. You know what I mean? Like, and then he's on. So it's like my favorite KRS-One song is Out of Here. You know what I mean? And that's like he was almost out of here. You know what I mean? It was like, I know he's still going strong, but it's like he already went through the whole record deal situation and like and that was kind of his frustration, him venting his frustrations about dealing with all this stuff. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. It's like a lot of the rappers that I started listening to were at that I've been there, done that stage in their career already. Yeah. Or the song was like a part two. And then when you got guys like K Solo, that would lead to like the Hit Squad. And then EPMD, it was either Business as Usual or Business Ever Personal. The one with Headbanger. The one that had Headbanger and Crossover. And then I just became obsessed with Eric Sermon. And he did an album called No Pressure in 1993. And I mean, I'm all over the map with it, but I'm just saying, like I'm just as far as it's all like production, man. I love, like Eric Sermon stuff. I was super into that. Like there was a time when I was like dick riding everything Muggs did, but then I really got into like Eric Sermon. You know what I mean? Like, but there's dudes that I don't even know. Like, a lot of I don't know. I'm not sure who did a lot of the Ice Cube stuff, but it was like Sir Jinx or DJ Pooh or one of those guys. Like I because that stuff was, so I don't know, man. Just the 90s was a different time, man. It was a different time. Yeah. You had to go to Sam Goody, and sometimes, sometimes you had to take a chance, and just buy a tape.
Yeah, no clue. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but then my interest in hip hop expanded with stuff like Yo MTV Raps. So then after Yo MTV Raps, there was this thing called The Box, where you would call in and you would dial the 3 digits for the video you wanted to see. And then they also had Box Talk. So around the time like Onyx was doing like Throw Your Guns in the Air, you would like call in and be like, I want to see Box Talk, and like with the Onyx edition, and it would be like Onyx, and they were so into the whole guns in the air thing, which makes me think that they probably were involved in the meeting with the private prisons, because they're like doing a gun deal on the Box Talk, and I'm just bugging out like, yo, this is crazy, man. Like they're really taking this serious. And then the movie Strap came out, you know, it's just like, wow. I don't know. I'm kind of a conspiracy guy too, but yeah, man. With the Box, after that, I got to middle school. And I've really developed my taste buds. I was going to Nobody Beats the Wiz, and then I was also going to this place in Montclair called Crazy Rhythms, and that was like as close as a Fat Beats as it gets, you know what I mean, for a guy like me, because they would have, you know, the 12-inch singles and everything.
That's great.
And the Source, the back of the Source magazine used to have this thing where they would sell turntables. Remember that? Like they had the Gemini startup kit, and that came with a turntable, a mixer, and a tape deck. I still have that same tape deck. It's right in front of me. But yeah, man. So I went and just bought that. You know, well, I didn't buy it with my own money. My dad, he hooked me up, and he got it for me. He saw it was something I was interested in. So he got that for me. And then the first official like 12-inch single that I bought was Funkmaster Flex, Nothing But Flavor, with ODB, Charlie Brown from Leaders, and Biz Markie, and then I had a B-side with Craig Mack, Biggie, Diddy freestyle, and yeah, just after that, man, it was like what I would. So after the Box, this was in middle school, came Video Music Box with host Ralph McDaniels, and then you had Crazy Sam and Ray DeJean, rest in peace. But you had Crazy Sam would do this thing called Nervous Thursdays. So Nervous Thursdays, I was like a pig in shit, man, because it was like, like everything from Digging in the Crates, like everything raw from the Bronx, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like Watch the Sound, Fat Joe, and like obscure rappers, the Hunter Man and Strictly Roots.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Beg No Friends. I would see that stuff, and then I would go to the Crazy Rhythms, which was the local record store, and I would buy the singles. So that was how it went. You know what I mean? You'd see the video. And it used to be, you know, I would go, you know, get the tape, whatever. But now I'm collecting records. So that's when I got into collecting records, essentially. And I never was a DJ because I didn't have 2 turntables. I just had a tape deck, and you know what I mean? So I couldn't do, and I'm not that, like when guys talk about pause tapes and knowing how to like make beats, and like, I'm not that smart, you know what I mean? So, or technologically inclined. So I just, you know, I would just buy the records, you know, just every LP that came out, The Shining. Then my mom would take me to like New York, to Tower Records, and they had a basement. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But they had the basement in Tower Records in New York and Manhattan, and they had like a couple of them. And I would just go down there and just be, you know, hog heaven, just like, oh man, so much, all the dope shit is out, and I got the LP for The Shining, the double LP, not the reissue, you know what I mean? Not all this shit now, just like I'm talking about back in the day. I had the original copy. I had the Mobb Deep, Infamous. I had all that stuff, man. You know, like, whew.
Like, it's funny that you bring it up, and it's great that you what got so you got captured in it, you know, for this love of the music, and having that outlet of the box, like you were mentioning, your MTV Raps, video music box, because that helped the outlet for us listeners to go to a store and understand what we were hearing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
what was dope about some of those videos, those video things, sometimes there'd be a video and you wouldn't even be able to have access to the single.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like there's some records that I've gotten recently. Like there was this group from Hoboken called the Down and Dirty Tribe. And they were like they were kind of like a Timu Terror Squad or whatever, but it was like they even had like a Fat Joe type of dude. And it was like they sampled the artifacts. Like, this is Down and Dirty from the underground of Jersey. I'm not knocking them. I was a fan. You know what I mean? So, but I remember not being able to find that single. And then I got to buy it in Denmark. You know what I mean? Like, I got to buy. Isn't that crazy that, like, these guys live like 20 minutes away and I had to buy their record from, like, some kraut in Germany, you know, for $1 million? Yeah. So. But that's when I started, like, because right now I'm trying to get rid of my hip hop to keep it a foul wow. I'm trying to get rid of all of it except for my jersey collection. Like, that's the stuff I want to hold on to. But like all the 12 inches and stuff. But like, yeah, man, that's what it was, man. Back in the day, it was just like you would see it, you go, and I got the Organized Confusion, Stress single. Oh man, with the Large Professor remix, and I bought that on a tape, on the cassette tape. I had that on the cassette tape. And another thing about me is that I kind of had like the heart of a DJ because I wasn't really an album guy like that. You know what I mean? Like I always had like the maxi singles of everything. Like people are like, oh, but you didn't have the album. It's like, nah, bro, but I got the receipts. I got the tapes. You know what I mean? Like I got the like a lot of people would be surprised by this. Like I'll say it's some hip hop blasphemy right now. I've never listened to Reasonable Doubt in its entirety, you know? But guess what? In my lifetime, I didn't see a whole lot of dough. You know, I knew about him already. You know, I knew about Jay-Z. I was watching his videos on Video Music Box, and then, you know, the stuff with Jazzo I even knew about when I was a little kid from Yo MTV Raps, you know, with the Luau and the Hawaii Sophie type shit.
Yeah.
So subconsciously it didn't click until later in life. It didn't consciously click until I was like, oh, that was him. And then he started he got on that song with Kane and Sauce Money and Shaheem, where he's like, I'm the cocky breed, I'm dope like poppy seeds, stop jocking me. And then he was with, of course, Original Flavor, you know, with the hey y'all, can I get open? You know, so what I'm saying is I'm well versed in Jay-Z, but I've never listened to Reasonable Doubt in its entirety. But I can name like a bunch of songs on it. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, but I had the record, the actual original joint, like the white label to Dead Presidents, and it had like a sampler on it. It was like a record sampler, and I know this might sound weird, but when I heard the sample, because you remember how they used to put like sampler tapes on the vinyl.
Yep.
Like where you would get like a little skit. I swear, man, I was such a backpacker maybe that I was like kind of like, yo, this is kind of jiggy sounding. Even though we weren't nobody was talking that jiggy shit yet. I was kind of like, cause like, you know what I mean? Like I was hearing it and I was like, yo, man, I don't know about this. It sounds like a little like like some R&B type, different type of shit. Like, but you know, that's weird, right? I know. But I don't know, man. I just felt like
that's crazy.
I just felt like keeping it real for once. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody's lying. Like, might as well tell the truth. Yeah.
Let's segue because you were talking about samplers.
And
let me ask you about your 2019 project.
Oh. That's a nice drink coaster you got there. Yeah, man. What about it? What do you want to know?
Man, I mean, the endless amount of talented artists that you had on here.
Well, I'm glad you picked up Chuck and Locke, man. I like those guys. They're good eggs.
Oh, I'm a big fan of them for a long time.
Yeah,
I might have discovered them through SoundCloud.
I may have too. Like I remember, they kind of remind me of this group, this duo from Chicago called Palmer Squares. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yeah,
they're like super lyrical, like a duo of white dudes, but super lyrical. But they were more like, I think they got more into keyboard beats. So when I heard Chuck and Locke, they were like rapping over sample-based production. So, but I was drawn to them lyrically immediately. Like, but yeah, that compilation, I got it on the wall. See over here. I got it over there.
Yep,
I don't know, it's kind of fucked up. But yeah, I got it on the wall, you know, it's my platinum plaques. So yeah, man, that's great, man. That was like one project I didn't get behind, and I think I mixed the entire album. Maybe one song I didn't mix, one or two songs I didn't mix myself on there, you know. So I literally did everything with my own hands, because when the label wanted it, Item Records, they were like, "You got to do everything." I had to do the graphics. I had to do everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like I thought they had an A&R division. You know what I mean? Like labels don't got shit now. They're just like, give us everything. Give us the PDFs of everything. And like, you know what's crazy? What's that strip that goes on the record?
Oh, the OBI?
Yeah, the OBI. Uh-huh. Yo, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what it meant. And they asked me for it. And I got the person who did the graphic design to do the OBI, which is basically like a foreword for your project. And I was just like, I apologize to her. It's my friend Kim Coopyart. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I never would have asked you to do that. Because it's like doing a blurb about me. You know what I mean? Like I felt like it's too much to ask for somebody to do that. And but I was so clueless. I didn't know what an OBI strip was. That's crazy. But yeah, man, overall, I think that was a solid project, man. And it's all gonna tie in together, because you're gonna mention other names and it's gonna weave and turn into other things. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. And I had an old magazine, Rolling Stone magazine, because I also collect old magazines. I don't just collect like, you know, rap records or whatever. I collect, you know, sample records to sample from, and I also collect like old news. I have a whole box filled of old newspapers and just all kinds of junk. And I scan it, you know, try to do my own little cut and paste work. It's not always as good, but it's cool because if I'm working with somebody, I could send them a template. You know what I mean? Like, it's like scan in some stuff and be like, can you take these images and make it look good? So yeah, nah, man. And so that was actually, I think, a pimp, the guy on the back, and it was in Rolling Stone magazine, and he had all the chicks around him. And this is when I was, you know, on the porn shit or whatever. So I was like, yeah, word, that's dope. And then the front, the guy is from a record. That's from a record. And dude got the funny hat on, and I'm like, well, I always had kind of menial jobs throughout my life, so I'm like, that sums me up. But then it's like, he kind of resembles the guy in the back, or he does. You would think they were the same dude. Like he got jiggy and like put on the suit. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, the whole thing was me. You know, I made it with my own two hands. You know, like the macaroni necklace. You know what I mean? So I got no one to blame but myself for that, you know.
And let's talk about the ill hand styles.
Oh, that's my man, Diggs Darklighter, who actually did Vinny Paz's I think the cornerstone of the corner store. Okay. He did that. He sparks that. He's a legendary graffiti writer from Northeast Philly. my man Diggs Darklighter, man, real good friend of mine. Yeah, shout outs to him. Yeah, he gets it in. I'm impressed that you're impressed. You know what I mean? Like, honestly. Because people wouldn't, like, you must be a graffiti head or something like that.
I love the whole scene. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a debate to be made that Philly started. They say like cornbread, I believe, and I mean, I'm not one of those people that says like, "Oh, hell, hip hop started in Manhattan." Like, like there's like these like people that like to be provocative and stuff. But yeah, right. Man, and I also learned that there's like certain hand styles in Philly. Like sometimes I think it's like a longer letter. And I'm not even a graph head. I'm not going to front. But it's like, I know enough. You know what I mean? Just because I'm around it. And everybody I'm around was either tagging up or a graph guy. We got a lot of them in Jersey. You already know. Like,
yeah. Seen a lot. Speaking of friends, we share a mutual friend. And this guy, another person that has a wealth of knowledge. And I'm happy for the success that he's been doing with his shorts, the work he's been doing with Public Enemy, High and Mighty. We're talking about AP, also known as Ultra Mag.
Oh, Ultra Mag 7. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah. No, I mean, I love him, man. He's awesome. Yeah. That's a guy I talk to. Like, to me, that's the OG, like if when I want to talk about hip hop, because like he actually interviewed Divine Styler for his podcast that he had. I think it's now defunct. He still does a podcast all the time with C-Doc,
yeah,
and Jenny O and DJ Flatline, but he had one with this other guy and they're both from South Jersey. So I just, man, he had Divine Styler on there. I had to talk to him about that. And it just opened up a can of worms because I'm obsessed with like New Jersey hip hop and not just Queen Latifah, the Fugees and Lauryn Hill. And you know what I mean? Like Naughty by Nature. I'm not saying that that's not important. It is very important, but there's a lot going on that we don't know about. Like South Jersey has there's so many hits out of there too. You know what I mean? I never knew that the Ed Lover dance was 45 King 900 number. So speaking of, it all circles back, man. It all goes back to Ed Lover, Dr. Dre, the real Dr. Dre. But Ed Lover, man, the Ed Lover dance. So you think about, all right, well, we had 45 King, Flavor Unit, all that. So then later in life, maybe like 10 years later or 15 years later, I start hanging out with people from Trenton. And one of my best friends is this guy is also a dope MC. He was, I was actually I am a big fan of this guy, Sean Love. He was from out in the Trenton area. And when I first was like coming of age, like getting older, like old enough to drink and go out and enjoy nightlife, I started going out to Trenton like all the time to hang out with him because I became like, I was a fan. I went from a fan to being a friend. And he did work with this guy, Tony D, who produced all the Poor Righteous Teacher shit and did everything. Just did so much with everybody, like King Son and, all these different guys, YZ, and, there's so many people, man, like that he produced for. So I kind of feel like he's like the central / South Jersey, 45 King. Like he's like on that side. So I felt like I was deprived of this. So now here I am at the tender age of 44. And back then I was in my early 20s. But what I'm saying is I had to get schooled later about, wow, well, there's this going on. And then I had this other guy who Ultra Mag knows, this dude named Shoke Kendrick, A Zillion Records, Super Brown Bum. And he was a dude who I looked up to in hip hop, or I still do, and he actually did a track for Mac Hami back in the day. But we'll go back to that if we do. But yeah, this dude, he was not just from East Orange. He was originally from Pennsauken or Camden area. And he used to tell me about all the stuff in South Jersey. He would tell me about Crown Rulers. He'd tell me about, the original Grand Poobah and like all these dudes. And like, and then I started learning about, Rapid Scratch and I Go Rambo. And then I started like being like, wow, so there's this in Trenton. Then you go further south and you're in Camden. And then there's this is going on. And these guys were affiliated with, Kool Keith and Said G, you know what I mean? It was so dope, man. Just like for me, it became like a quest for knowledge, where I just wanted to learn every nook and cranny about like the history of Jersey hip hop, and it got me so interested in it. And it made me like, honestly, man, I don't want to live in a world where we're just talking about the score, or the Fugees album, like, oh, that was a classic. It's like, I mean, I'm not even a Fugees fan like that. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever, fight me. I don't know. Actually, don't fight me. I'll probably lose. But yeah, man, it's just like, I don't know, man. That's not my hill to die on with a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I could take it or leave it. Like some of it, not all of it. Like Tretch is one of the illest. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trivializing the North. What I'm saying is the Central and South has it too. You know what I mean? It's like, so, and that's what I think a lot of people in Jersey don't understand, that it's not just happening in their little bubble. You know what I mean? And a lot of people need to think, and you don't even have to leave the state to be worldly about it. Like you could actually, within your own state, there's rappers everywhere. Like I got 12 inches from Mount Holly, rappers from Mount Holly, like the dudes from everywhere. You know what I mean? From down the shore. I don't know if you know this guy, DJ Skills. He was in this group called Perverted Dialect. They were out in the
that sounds familiar.
Asbury Park area. Like they got MCs out there. So here's the thing with me. Like when it comes to hip hop, I used to read, but this is what you had to do. When you bought a tape, you read the shout outs. You read like the shout outs. And if they shouted out somebody that you weren't familiar with, you would try to find out who that was. And then you would buy their shit.
There it is. Yep.
And then you would be like, as far as samples, it would be like, oh, this song contains elements of Ohio Players or whatever. So you'd be like, okay. And then my brother would buy like Ohio Players. And then we would have like, I don't know if you got in on the whole like Columbia House scheme where you'd pay like a penny and get like 20 stacks of CD. you know, I don't know how it worked, but like maybe it ruined your credit or something. Like maybe I still owe them money, but yeah, man, like I'm just a researcher. I'm not a scholar, but I'm just I like to just research and learn more and keep going down the rabbit hole. I feel like we're in a very scary time, man, where people are very short attention span and very like, it's like a limited hangout, with a lot of people with hip hop,
And you saying scary is very true because they too many.
All they know about is Griselda. You know what I mean? And I was like, bro, there's more than no shots at them, but who cares? Whatever. I don't care. They're not signing me. So it's like, whatever. There is no like what? You know what I mean? There's more to the world. There's a lot of different rappers, I grew up when there was Public Enemy. You had PM Dawn. You had, you know what I mean? It's two polar opposites. Then I had guys with jerry curls rapping about shooting people. Like you had everything, Far Side. Yes, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man.
Yeah, I have two sons, and I'm grateful that the music that we expose them to, because that opened their palette to so much more than what I generally listen to. At the same time, they still listen to older music. So my oldest, he enjoys a lot of 80s stuff. He also listens to Black Sabbath. He listens to multiple genres. Oh. And then my youngest, he's into jazz music as well as, current music as well.
That's dope, man. You did well, I mean, only thing you got to worry about is them reversing those Black Sabbath records, and you did a good job. At least you're not listening to like what Cardi B or Trippie Redd or whatever. I don't know. Like at the same time, though, who am I? Who am I to say that that's not good music? You know what I mean? It's just
you never know, right?
Like I did a project with a drill. I would say he's a drill rapper. But he doesn't rap about killing people. So he's like a non-violent drill rapper. So, because I started seeing like Alchemist doing projects with like Larry June and like all these like gangbanger type rappers. You know what I mean? Like these dudes that are like, they're a little bit more simple, or Jay Worthy, like those kind of guys. And I was like, what if I went to like the lowest common denominator of rapping, which would be the mumble rap or drill, right? And I found an MC who knew how to do it. And it's like one of my favorite projects I ever involved in, because like I love the contrast of styles. Like I love that I was able to like, it's kind of like Boldy James. Like you always want him to rap over sample-based production, like dope ass loops. Like you never want I'm not saying that I'm the biggest Nicholas Craven fan, but I know that I could count on it being a good album when it's him and Baldy together. You know what I mean? Sample based. I know I'm going to hear soul loops and all that. So it's like, I'm a happy camper. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, and that's what I think hip hop should be. It should be a contrast of styles, or else it'll all be like Jurassic 5, where it's like, hip it to the hopper. You just don't stop her. And I'm like, man, I like that. Don't get me wrong. I like that type of hip hop, but I also like that the dude back in the day, the guys that were rapping were like crack dealers. You know what I'm saying? Like they were really in the streets. And I'm not saying they all got to be like that, but like it was a cool. And then they're rapping over like Ahmad Jamal samples and like, you know what I mean? Like groovy stuff. And like, you know what I mean? Like that was dope to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. I never felt like you can make rap with rap, maybe back in the day when you had no choice, but it's like now it's like, I feel like it's cool. I like hearing that, like the contrast, like when Freddie Gibbs does a project with Madlib, you know what I mean? That gets me excited,
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Now, a few days ago, I went and revisited your SoundCloud page.
Oh man.
Just to see which tracks I liked and reposted. So I'm gonna play a joint that I already got queued up.
Okay.
This one is Hodgepodge with Midas the Beast, Murdoch, Ali Oxbrill, and Almighty. You remember that?
Yeah.
All right, let me put that up real quick.
Custodian's record. Yeah, Midas the Beast on there too.
1, 2, 3, 4. Lacerating your spinal cord, lapsating, patiently recreating the Bible war. Idols for the idol when they see them, not Billy but really demon. See, after they murder, they still be screaming. What's up, Doc? Bugs and Daffy. On your bucket list, throw a bucket at me. I'm flooding Nantucket with drugs and caffeine. You can't see it with their eyes wide shut. That they start a team itchy and they sideline suck. Gun in the holster, pocket knife and pocket watch and lockpick. With superpowers equipped us, how I define luck. Poisonous piranha face. Joyously, I'm toying with katana blades. Fighting you to Dennis Jeffrey. Maybe wherever you're my silhouette. I don't remember the day my trigger slept. Born from grandfather to bigger pep. Ann Arbor to Santa Barbara and everything between. Temporary, they calling me knife, they say I mean it's your man's. plans to expand the former land. The confessional is trying to explain what's on my hand.
Ported cargo with your palm from the fabric ash. Hold your horse into my gallery, hard to crack the glass. Fresh octopus, closed section for members only. Stretch with no, urinate from pepperoni. Emily, you got my ollie, mahogany, heredity, the broccoli, the head of celery. Yeah, grasshopper, chocolate, cupid, and made a box of onions. Sinatra culprits, brief with a hot explosive product in the cocky posture. Stone ball boys in pajamas come to life and stomp ya. Bones to the bells, wear snares. Voices with warm coats, leave the door closed, read the red, yeah, cold. Check it up, work no Trump first. When the sun turns gray, chance from caveman. We crave fast when the time go lightning. One small man today will be tomorrow's giant.
Murder mercenary, first to bury the body's pieces. Ali probably Jesus with rotting teeth. Crown of thorns, a holly reaper, beast deformed with horns like rhinoceros. The sci-fi author with the flying saucers. Final walker, altar beats, coin your priest like she's the street stalker. Smart leap of the chief of the peace officer. The police officer with a beast for sleepwalkers. It's cold out, so keep the fleet sparking. We charge the battery spills at adamantium anatomy field. The fantasy film is Amityville. My whole family kills, it's ill as real life. You need a shield if I'm wielding a steel knife. Cats like Jesus, sleep with villain and still shites, but nice now. I'm killing with icy eyebrows, the wise out, sliding high clouds.
Here to snatch your lights out, thoughts you trying to write about us, falsified truth, you ain't bout us, turn the mic down. Tell the clowns to pipe down, moving silence, cause right now you in the midst of a spittle who violence, and you can die around these parts. Easy, I'm reading them, they graffiti, they ending this in a minute, was written through what he's speaking, believe me. Mighty a beast on the level you trying to reach still. Molly rock with verses and serving the dirty e-pills. Church to the death, my mind is another topic, got me rocking in pockets, more words of another climate. Sensing the sensitivity, issues rise when they mention me. I scan for their name on the menu, we serve them instantly. Niggas got it twisted, I'm in it for making history. Lock them back in the closet with their jeans and girl tendencies. Shower with footprints, lost balance in mosh pits. Tried to pass it for hip hop, ended up with a pop hit. Trust, cats travel the circus and trying to circulate. You cut them up, watch their murder date, raise the murder rate. Remember when you rap before you step and get your shit slit. Scratch seeing me and put B in me on your wish list. Mention it to these amateur Albert cowards who think they wanted a little taste, put a better weight on their plate though. Make no mistake, if you want it, I'm here to offer. Fuck around and end up crutching it. Can't walk in the golf.
Yeah, yeah. There's some Jersey in there too, man. It's my man Almighty from South out in Camden, from South Jersey. He's affiliated with Nut House Crew, you know, Fel Sweetenberg, Dave Ghetto, and all them. You know. So I don't know where he's at now. He hits me up sporadically. He kind of moves around the country, but yeah, that's my man. And then Murdoch. I don't know how familiar you are with him, but he won like a big contest on the Wake Up Show. And he was in studio with a mod, you know, back in the day, and Kanye, you know, Ye. You know what I mean? Like back in the, you know, like this is like 2008 or whatever, but like, yeah, man, that's a total beast, man. That's my dude from Orlando, and he was able to finesse the situation with Midas and get him on the track. And that's why I called it hodgepodge, because it was all people from different walks of life. Yeah. Like Ali Oxgrill's from Fredericksburg, Maryland, or Fredericksburg, Virginia, whatever. He's from one of them. But it's like you had guys from this area, from that area, from that area. So that's why I called it that. And that was back when I was like, when I made a beat, like, I would use like 10 different records, you know what I mean? Like, and just like kind of mash everything together. So I guess it was like that too, you know, just trying to compose it. I had this cat in Canada mix it for me. And then I paid this company to like master it analog style, which I don't even know if they did. It was like a very expensive and kind of a rip off. And I remember like, I told them if I gave them like a note, and they were like, we can't do this. You know, they were like some people from like highfalutin people from like Europe, and they're like, oh yeah, we refuse. And I was just like, I had to write them a nasty letter. Just like, come on, man, just redo it. And they finally got right with me on that. And then, yeah, voila, you know, it went on SoundCloud, and
it's crazy.
Yeah. The rest is history. Actually, Griot Noy wanted to rap on that beat because, like,
yeah?
I don't know how he heard it. Maybe I was like playing it on my Instagram one day, and he was just like, "Yo, I want to get on that track," and I was like, "Yeah, I did like a posse cut a while." He's like, "I don't care, I'll rap on it." I was like, "All right," so I just sent him the beat, and he was supposed to do something. He probably did. I don't even know. You know what I mean? But yeah, nah, that was the joint for a little bit, man. You know.
Definitely. What I like is born and raised in Jersey, and you continue to put other artists from the whole state, on the map throughout your entire career. Early on, you did trying to remember the name. Was it Burton Music? I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. You had Soul Zala's on there from New Jerikans, who I've been listening to them for a long time.
Yeah. Well, he had an album in either 99 or 2000. I think it's called Culture Conservant or whatever, and it was on Lay Down and Die Records, and he was a part of this group, Forbidden Chapters, and they were based out. You're in Jersey City, right?
No, I'm in Staten Island.
Oh, I thought you were in Jersey City. Were you in Jersey City for a while? No?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they had the studio Lay Down and Die with Matty V, and it was just, these guys were like the illest rappers ever in New Jersey. Like all young dudes. Like some of them were sober. Like they weren't smoking blunts. They weren't doing wild stuff. They just were just super lyrical. You know what I mean? Like just dudes that were just, they weren't on the extra stuff. They were just about rhymes. And he was a part of that collective, and they were like a big deal to me. So that's why, I always wanted to incorporate people. They had an impact on my life, you know what I mean, with music. And that crew was so important to me, you know what I mean? So I had reconnected with him because we were cool through just the circuit. And then we started going to the studio on North 7th in Newark at this guy Double M's house. And we just started doing like a whole bunch of joints, and then all the joints kind of wound up on the compilation. But yeah, man, that's cool. You noticed that?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, you continuously show the importance of Jersey hip hop, and I think it's important for you to continue on doing that. There's been a few documentaries here and there, and I know there's going to be a Tame One documentary coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
There was
I knew Tame.
Yeah. Just keep putting people on the map, because like you said, there's a lot of talent in Jersey, so definitely need to be heard.
Yeah, I met Tame the first time. Well, actually, I went to there used to be this chick named Jaji G, and she was down Boom Squad. She used to be like a tagger, but she also had a underground hip hop newsletter, and it was called Plug Action. So you would get emails, and she had like a AOL with her account, and she would send you emails about everything that's going on in the New Eurekan and all the different open mics, but she would also talk about the stuff that was going on here, and that's how I met everybody, essentially through her. And she was in Boom Squad, so I started going to like events because of her. Like she's kind of like a private person now, but like there was a time, man, like she's the OG plug. They talk about the plugs now. It's like it was called Plug Action. And literally it was like, you would learn about what was happening in the area, and that was where it's at. And before my time, there was like this club called I think on Grafton Ave called The Pipeline, and that's where the Outsiders was at, and they was going in there winning battles, and Kurt Nice from Shades of Hip Hop, and then you had DJ Porno, Tame's DJ, And then you had Cool Mellow Max, and of course, one of the most important people in my life, as far as Jersey hip hop, is my man Black 45. He was just a huge deal. I really hope he gets his just due, and I really hope that something gets done where he's recognized. I mean, he has been in the Star Ledger. They did I don't know if you saw that, but they did like a Great Day in Newark picture, how they did like a Great Day in Harlem with all the jazz musicians. Mm-hmm. They did a Great Day, and they had everybody. They had Milkbone. They had, you know what I mean? Like everybody in it.
Remember that.
Yeah. But like, that's like my mentor as far as like, you know, host, you know, trying to put together events and that. And when I started doing events, it was like guys like him. And then also I saw this documentary called, I think it's called American Hardcore. And it was about the DIY scene with punk rock. And I never liked punk rock. I liked, you know, I listen to if I hear Bad Brains, I'll be like, oh, because they could actually play the music. But like, I wasn't no punk rock head. My brother was. He collected 7 inches. Mm-hmm. But like, I love the whole DIY, like hip hop can be done anywhere mentality. Like, you know what I mean? And I know that's where it started. I know that's where it's really started. Like park jams everywhere. And it's just, I don't know, man. That spirit is missing. But you know what I mean? I love that. I love that era, man. And then, yeah, through those plug actions, I went to the Trife Type Times album. You know, my bad. I'm kind of rambling, but I went to the 12-inch single.
History.
Trife Type Times single for Tame One, produced by Geo to Abbott, and it was supposed to be an album called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it never dropped. I wonder what happened. I wonder if they're going to talk about it in a documentary. I hope they do. But when I went down there, I went to the African Globe. This was right next to Symphony Hall in Newark on Broad Street, and went down in this dingy basement, pissy basements, you know what I mean? Like, and just everybody had dreads, and it was just like the Boom Squad, you know what I mean? I was just like, wow, you know, this is hip hop, you know what I mean? And it's like, and then they had an open mic, they're passing the mic. I kicked a little corny rhyme, one of my friends rapped. Like, it was just, man, you can't match that energy. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't see it anymore. I don't care how nice these guys are now. It's not there. You know, but yeah, man, back then it was crazy, man. And then later in life, I met Tame. Like I met Tame about a year later. Mm-hmm. I did a rap battle in Trenton, New Jersey, and it was at an Elks Lodge, and I won. And Tame was one of the judges. And after the battle, I seen him, and I was like, "When's your album coming out?" And he was like, "When's your album coming out?" So I was like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? He's kind of fucking with me. So I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, but ever since then, he was just always like a guy like I was completely sober back then. But then when I started drinking and partying more, then I was like really like able to enjoy his presence and stuff, because he didn't like it when you nerded out on him. Like when I would talk to him about what was it like when you did the B-side for blah, 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 you know what I mean? Or Nubian Crackers, what was that like? Or, you know, like he would be like, man, he even told me, he's like, dude, if you want to be friends, man, stop talking about that stuff. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Because, you know, Tame will give it to you, man. He wasn't always the most pleasant guy around, but like he was real, man. He was a real dude. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, rest in peace. That was my dude. I'm cool with L too. You know, L's a good brother too, man. You know? But yeah, man, that all happened through Jaji G. Peace to her, man. She plugged me in with a lot of stuff. Cause like back then, like I said, you had to search for things. It wasn't just laid on your lap. You know, you had to, it wasn't on Instagram. There was no Instagram, you know? I don't even think there was a Craigslist.
No, I don't think there was back then. No. So with all of this music that you absorbed, and I love that you speak about going down the rabbit hole, because even at 47, I still get that same feeling. I do it now with artists whether they're my age or younger. I still go, if they captivate me, I still want to go find out more about them. What got you into wanting to do production?
Production. I mean, honestly, people like DJ Muggs, people like Large Professor, people like Prince Paul, people like DJ Premier, Eric Sermon, everybody, man. Like all those guys from back, Dante Ross, maybe. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like the SD50s, you know what I mean? Like just the Groove Merchants, Godfather Don and the Mighty VIC and Beat Nuts. And I mean, when I was a little kid, I made up beats in my head. You know what I mean? No one else heard them, but I was making them up. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that means that I'm schizophrenic or whatever, but I used to make beats in my head. You know what I mean? I would be like, I would have these little dreams of like me being a gangster rapper and me having my own beats and me rolling up and there's like a steam machine where there's like smoke coming out, and mist. You know what I mean? So I was always wanted to be the producer, but the way that happened was, see what happened was, I was going to the studio, and my dad was a thorough jazz head. Like he could, like I would sample his records. Like he had Ahmad Jamal, he had Cannonball Adderley, he had, all that stuff. Like he liked stuff like Duke Ellington and, different things. And he was like a real jazz man. He went to college in Michigan and he actually would go to jazz, the black jazz clubs, and he would meet these guys, what I mean? Like, and just be like a fan, a college kid, and would go out to that. So he had all those records. And then, so I remember when I would have to go to the studio in Montclair, the guy had an SP 1200 and an S950, a Kai. And I would bring the record and be like, sample this part and then add drums to it. So that just became like a reoccurring thing where I would just keep going into the studio and paying $10 an hour and being like, yeah, man, yeah, do this. And I kept going. And I tried to do because I had a keyboard, but it was like whack. So I would do like a little corny keyboard beat and it wouldn't work out. But when it was samples, I was like, yeah, this is good. So it was like I did it out of necessity or whatever. Like I did it because I had to. You know what I mean? Like nobody was giving us beats, so we had to make our own beats. And we didn't want to use we wanted to make our own shit. So I was in little corny rap groups and all that stuff. Like I used to in '95, I recorded like a demo in the back of a arcade. They had like a little studio, not even a studio, just like a DJ setup and a mic. And it was this guy named Steph Salah, and me and my friends would pay like $10, and we would you could do a demo at Six Flags back in the day. People would go to Six Flags and do a rap demo. You know what I mean? Like they had a booth over there. So it was like, we would just, so it was like that. But then eventually, you wanted to make your own beats. So the way you did it was you dig in your parents' record collection and you'd bring the records over. Then that runs out. And then you're like, wait, okay, I'm going to fall back for a little bit. But then I'm like, wait, Swizz Beatz is one of the best producers right now. Swizz Beatz is great. All these other guys are great. And Timberland and Magoo are the best rappers alive. And you know what I mean? So I'm like, and then the underground, after a while, because I didn't even get into the Stretch and Bobbito, like the radio aspect of hip hop yet, which is kind of crazy because that's a big part of my story. Huh?
I'm definitely going to ask you about that when it comes
to yeah. I don't know how, you know what I mean? It scatters all over the place, but
we can do that another time, definitely.
Yeah, but what was I saying? Sorry, man, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I lost my train of thought for a second. But yeah, how did I get into making beats? I did it because the free market wasn't providing me with good beats. So when they're not making good beats for me, I have to do it. You know what I mean? It's put upon me so that I have to do that. You know what I mean? I have to make beats to the best of my ability. So I got a program called Acid Pro, or it was just Acid. And this was like 1998. And I just got tired of like paying the guy to use his like SP12, even though it was the SP1200 and S950 was like, you know, classic equipment. It was still like, I got to do my own thing. I can't keep paying this guy. This guy's getting rich off. He's getting rich off of me. And then I remember I asked him one day, like, yo, because we would get stuff on CD. Like he was the first guy with a CD. Remember when a guy had a CD burner? You were like, oh man, that's the biggest deal in hip hop, you know? And the studio had a CD. Yeah, and he gave it to me, and I would have to turn it up all the way to hear it, and it was still hissy and bad. So I asked him for another one. He's like, well, I'll just put it on a tape for you, and it'll be louder. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm not coming back to you. You know what I mean? And I just was like, man, fuck you, man. You're just taking my money like I'm a dumb kid. So after a while, the underground stopped delivering because you had like Fondulum, you had Raucous, you had all those dudes, and then that fizzled out. You know what I mean? Like that left. So around like the early 2000s, there was like a limbo where I was like, yo, I don't feel like everybody started trying to imitate Premiere with overly choppy beats, or just like a drum and just like chopped, like a one chop little sample, like 2 notes. And you'd be like, man, this shit's kind of corny. So these are the people that I'm supposed to be like, you guys are carrying the torch and you're not even carrying the torch right. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I just was like, you know what, man? I just got to go balls to the wall, and I got to start doing it. I got to start making my own shit. I want to make music that I want to listen to, you know, not music that other people want to hear. I want to make it for myself. So that's what happened, basically.
Be that way.
Yep. I did it out of necessity.
Gotcha. That's how it always should be. So I'm going to show one more project of yours that's still a favorite of mine. And I want to know how you linked up with him, because I mentioned him in the intro. Sources of Nature.
Uh-huh.
With Sleep Sinatra from Lincoln, Nebraska.
That was through Flashes Clayton, who I got to give a major shout out to, because Flashes Clayton, he plugged me in with so many people. He's almost like, he's a Scorpio too. Like I'm a Scorpio, not to get all astrological, but like maybe we're the same type of dude in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Not like we're the same type of dude, but you know, he his polo game is a little better than mine. You know, I don't really got the gear like that, but yeah, man, he plugged me in with a lot of people. Like he's the reason Vic Spencer got on a joint. He's the reason that, you know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff happened, and I'm going to tie it all in a bow later, but like if we get to the other stuff, but yeah, man, he hooked that up. And then, you know, we had a good workflow with that project. And then, I mixed it all. I did everything. So it was another one of those projects where I was really happy about it. But yeah, it came out. It came out on a label. I believe this guy, the Fly Hooligan from UK, he put it out on his label on tape. And then Loretta Records put it out. And Loretta Records was kind of like that guy observed since 86, I believe his name is.
Yes.
He put it out, and yeah, I thought it was dope, man. I thought it was a dope album, you know. But, you know, it just it did what it did. It was out there, and it's funny you mentioned that. I actually just sent out the last copies that I have to Flash, because he's on there twice.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, I got these copies. You know, I can't move them. You know, I don't have a Discogs page or anything. So I was just like, yo, let me send them to you. See what you could do with them. You know, out in Cali. So who knows, you know?
Hey, who knows? Yeah. Flash is, he's a muse to me because, like you were saying, he knows a lot of talented people, and that's not even to downplay his own talents.
Yeah, but he also has. I guess we're similar in the sense that, not to keep saying that we're similar, but like he's kind of a selfless person. You know what I mean? Like he does put I've seen his energy might be similar to mine in some ways when it comes to stuff like that, like putting people ahead of you. You know, like I'm not. My ego isn't that inflated where I'm like, nah, this guy can't. Like, I'm of the era pre the gatekeeper. There was no gatekeeper. There was an A&R division. You know what I mean? Like, there was a street team. There was a DJ you had to rap for. You know what I mean? But it wasn't no gatekeeper. You know, it wasn't. I don't know. I don't even know what a gatekeeper is. But I guess it's a guy who wears Supreme and Nikes, but and knows and carry. You know, has all the weed and stuff. I don't know what it is, but yeah, nah, man. Like. You know, Flash was never on that. You know what I mean? He was just always like, and yeah, it's just like I said, I'm gonna wait till the end to say how it all ties together. But yeah, nah, man, shout outs to him. I actually just, like I said, I spoke to him last week and I sent him those records. So hopefully some people in Cali, if it gets placed in Amoeba, maybe a copy or two, because I only have like 4 copies. So maybe some people out there will check for it and, you know, rediscover it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that would be cool. You know, it beats, you know, collecting dust in my you know, apartment. You know what I mean? Like, it's to just keep getting it out there. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely happy about that because, like I said, like I did it. You know, I produced. I didn't do the rhymes, but I produced it. So and mixed it. So, you know, I'm definitely was proud of that project. Yeah. And like I said, that was through Flash initially. And then not just because he introduced everything, I wanted him to be a part. You know, I wanted him to be a part of it, like, because that's how I am. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to leave you out of the equation. I want you to be a part of this. So I got him on 2 songs, and those are like my, you know, favorite verse. Some of my favorite verses from him. You know, and I got a lot of Flash music just from him. Just he'll just send me like a whole zip folder full of his music, and it's just back-to-back stuff. I don't know what's going on, man. I mean, like he shut down his Bandcamp. Yeah. So I'm hoping that he just kind of like gets back and just reopens everything. I haven't really asked him, but we communicate every now and then on Instagram, and maybe I will prompt the question and just be like, yo, when you gonna, you know, drop something? Because I know I saw he had a song in his stories with this dude Norm Regular. I think he's from Baltimore, and I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like he's doing it. So, you know, I'm looking forward to hear for 2026. Hopefully, he's like gonna come reemerge. You know what I mean? And start doing it. You know, because he knows a lot of people too. So
yes, yep.
You know, he's got heads like Scott Free from you know, the genius behind, you know, Loud Records. You know what I mean? One of the geniuses behind that. Yeah. So he's got dudes like that co-signing him. You know, that's dope. You know. Yeah.
One of the artists on Hodgepodge, Ali Oxgrill, you just put out a joint with him, Blue, last week.
Yep.
Is that a completely new song?
No, it's from a very long time ago.
All right.
It's from like pre-COVID, probably like pre-COVID. People weren't even sniffling, you know, like it was like nothing was happening. Everyone was dry as a, you know what I mean? Dry as a church. Like everything was fine. And it wasn't like, and he did the joint, and with him, how how do you say someone's unreliable without sounding mean? Like I would say he's a free spirit, you know, he's all over the place. You know what it is too, man? He's got kids, he's got a family, like you got kids, you got a family. So I can't tell people how to manage their time and what they need to do and what not to do. It's like once you knock a girl up or you get involved with the family thing, it's a whole new world, man. You know what I mean? So, and I don't even know, like, knock on wood. I hope I don't know. Not yet. You know, maybe soon. But like I'm saying, like, he's doing like, I think he's like a chef now or something like that. So basically nothing came of the joint. He just recorded it and I really liked it. And he reminded me of it one day in a text message. And I put it up for a free download. And I made that art cover with Ollie, which is Oliver North, and an Ox, which is the box cutter, and then Grill. And I had like somebody gold teeth or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that was an old design I did. Like we got like at least an EP's worth of stuff. It's just a lot of times it's like we'll do a couple joints and then he'll just drop off the planet Earth and then come back and then drop off again. So it's like, but then again, like I said, like I don't know how I would react either, because I believe, you know, he's got a family, he's got kids. It's a different situation. So I can't criticize what he's doing. You know what I mean? And we've had discussions before where I'm like, you know, just about life and stuff like that. So I see where he's at. You know what I mean? So I just put it out there. I haven't even told him about it. So I'll hit him up actually, and just with a link, and then also the Hodgepodge thing to remind him. Maybe I'll do an Instagram post of that song. I didn't know it touched people like that. You know what I mean? Like, so that's cool. That's cool that you even played that. That was a very obscure kind of song. You know what I mean? I felt like nobody really heard it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Frank, appreciate you playing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oxgrill's the homie. It's just like I said, he's life is life, and everyone's got their stuff they're doing. You know.
Yep.
Like I barely got any like responsibilities. Like I don't, you know, and I'm still stressed the fuck out all the time. So imagine when you got real stress and real problems, you know, in your life, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't say real stress. You know, stress is stress, no matter which way it comes. You know, we're human, so we get affected. You throughout your career, you know, just like Flashers, know a lot of people, and I respect that, because networking with people that have talent is important. So I definitely appreciate the music that you've continuously been putting out throughout your career. Now, you mentioned before about Rock Marciano and his label Pimpire. Tell us that whole story of how that could have been.
Well, like I said, man, I'm tying it in a bow. It all goes back to Flash, because Flash knows a brother who's Rock's childhood friend from Hempstead, and we got acquainted, and he does music as well. I just don't want to, you know, blow it up and be all like, you know what I mean, about the situation, but he plugged me in, and this was about 6 or 7 years ago. And then I saw, you know, just like a screen, you know, like dude was corresponding. Like he sent him something like a pack. What do they call them? A beat pack or something like that. And this was right around the time I really started getting into the loops, because that's what I always loved. Like that's what I like I used to do beats where I was trying to be like DJ Shadow or like RJD2, where I used like 10 different records to make like one beat. And then I got into this whole instant gratification, just a loop thing. And I'm definitely no pioneer, you know what I mean? Like I'm not reinventing the wheel by any means, but it's something that I enjoy. I enjoy that dope, like straight to your veins, you know what I mean? Like straight dope, like just a dope loop. That's what I love. So I'm addicted. I'm a loop hunter, you know, or like Madlib's the loop digger, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I'm not saying I didn't invent nothing, you know what I mean? Like by no means, I'm son to a lot of these guys. But anyways, when I heard Marshburg, you know, I saw what he was on. Like I heard what he was on. I was like, wow, he likes this type of stuff. Like that. Then I heard another project. I was like, oh, he likes this. So I felt like, honestly, I was curating his album. Like, and I put out a project on Bandcamp where it was like called, because I started putting out a loop series, and I had one where it's just one track. And I felt like I was just like, every single track was like inspired by like kind of Rock Mars and what he was up to. And I think that's what got sent to him. It was just one long track, like 20 something minutes of like different loops. And he liked it. And then sooner or later, we exchanged numbers, and I started I would speak to him every now and then. And I know this was a long time ago because I was living with my parent in my parents' apartment. I hadn't gotten my own place yet. So this was super long time ago. And you know, I was kind of corresponding. So I was like, yo, man, it's about to be on. I've arrived, you know what I mean? And then it went to like from there to like sending him beat packs, and then maybe like sometimes I would send him some stale stuff that he wouldn't like and wouldn't be responsive. And then other times he'd be like, oh, that's really great, or a fire emoji or whatever. And then one time, fast forward to like 7 years later, I'm cleaning the meat grinder at work, and I get a call, and it's him. And he's like, yo, man, I'm putting together his company, and, you know, like, you know, he's basically explaining to me what he's doing right now. And he's like, I'd like you to be a part of it. And you know, I'm not going to spill the whole tea, but yeah, I was just like, yeah, sir. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm at your service. You know what I mean? Whatever you need. And then there was like an in-store last April, and it was like an in-store for him, and I pulled up. Like I went out to New York on it was 420, and it was Easter. It was an Easter Sunday, and it was 420 in New York, and I went to Soho. And I never go to New York. I stay in New Jersey. I don't go anywhere. Well, I go to New York sometimes, but I'm saying, like, I don't be outside like that. So I went there and I pulled up, and then, you know, I finally got to meet him. I don't know. I guess I was expecting him to like be like, yo, and go crazy, and like, you know, like, yo, crazy, yo, man, you know, chicks start rubbing up on me, and you know what I mean, like bottles of Moet are being popped and stuff. But it was more like, you know, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? And then he was just like, yo, call me. I was like, all right, word. And then I handed him a zip drive, and then I don't know. After that, and then another time, I'd send him something, and he'd be like, yo, send me that. Or I send him a video link, and he'd be like, take that down, send it to me. And, you know, it just got to the point, I don't know, man. I had to get closure on the situation because I didn't want to be waiting, you know, on him, you know, waiting forever and ever and ever. And I didn't want to be like in a situation where I'm like, you know how people do like songs like Dear Such and Such, and they're like, yo, what happened? We were going to do stuff. Like Tom Gist did something, I think, with Cam, or, you know, remember that artist, Tom Gist? Yeah. And it's like, well, I wasn't going to be rapping or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't want it to get to that point where I'm like waiting for him on Gilligan's Island. You know what I mean? Like waiting to be like, you know, saved. So I just was like, man, I gotta move on. You know what I mean? From that, because it became an obsessive thought where I was just like, yeah, man, I can't wait. So essentially, I was supposed to be involved in Pimpire, but I guess me coming public about that is probably not doing me any favors. But honestly, keep it a buck, it doesn't really matter anymore, because it's just like, you know, it is what it is. You know, if I wish, you know what I mean? Like I would love, like it was like I was cleaning a fucking meat grinder, and then the most important rapper of my time calls me, you know what I mean? Like telling me this could be, cause like, he's like, yo, this could be a good side hustle. I'm like, shit, man. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm speaking too much about the situation, but yeah, man, it is what it is, man. I just had to kind of like, to be honest, just kind of put it behind me. And I'm always going to be a huge fan. That's always going to be like a template for the type of shit that I like to do. And I also love I love his beats. And I also love like some of the producers he works with, like this guy Animos from the Arch Druids. Like his shit, like his loops are fucking ill as hell. I'm a big fan of his shit. So, it doesn't change anything. I still, love what I'm still gonna love his music or whatever. You know what I mean? It just whatever, he's a busy man. He's the number one. You know what I mean? Like he's the Dundada of this shit. So I saw some video where they called it the Godfather of underground rap. Rock Mars. So you know what I mean? You got to just kind of let things go, and at the same time, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's none but respect and admiration for that guy. You know what I mean? And the situation, it just was kind of magic. You know what I mean? And who knows? Maybe one day. But I feel like almost like with certain MCs, you got to get to that plateau. You got to get to that level to be able to be around that. You know what I mean? And I don't think I'm there, and I'm at the age where I'm a little more rigid in my ways. So I'm kind of like stuck in my ways where I'm kind of like, yo, man, I'm just going to do it how I do it. Either ride with it or don't. You know what I mean? Like it's not talking about him at all, but just like in general, there's just with life, you know what I mean? Like there's not a lot. I don't know, man. It's like there's no room for nuance anymore. It's just like either you're on Team Custody or you're not. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? That's just where I'm at with life. I've kind of become like bitter about a lot of things, and I'll be honest, man. I don't have a very sunny disposition when it comes to hip hop right now. But at the same time, to combat that, I create. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit on DJ, talk. I'm not going to do interviews with you every day and be like, yo, man, the industry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to create. I'm going to, not saying, not trivializing what you do, but I'm saying like, I'm going to create. And one of the things I've been promoting, like I always put on my headlines and my notes, is forge ahead. Forge ahead. Keep going. Don't stop. I'm not saying you're going to get to the finish line, but just keep going. The
grind doesn't stop. Yep. You got to keep yourself motivated.
So I'm just going to keep dumping, man. I'm going to keep dumping until nobody could deny it. And because there's dudes, like I'll say names too, like Harry Fraud is whack. Like he's not dope. I'm sorry. Sample it. Whatever. He's not dope. Like a lot of these white trust fund kids that are doing beats right now, they're garbage, bro. Like they don't need to be in the conversation, man. I'm sorry, they're just not dope. And I don't know what it is. Like they're Nepo babies. They got connects. Like even Swiss Beats. I'm not just singling out white kids. Like Swiss Beats is a Nepo baby. His dad ran Rough Riders, or his uncle. His uncle ran Rough Riders. So therefore, we got to hear the worst beats of the whole generation. Like that shit is garbage, bro. Like his Casio shit, like he's garbage. Like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of trash out there. I'm not going to front, man. Yeah. There's shit that I hear and I'm like, and also, man, the art of digging is dead, bro. Everybody's getting their shit on YouTube and buying sample packs, buying drum packs. And that's why, like, I don't want to hear nobody talking about it. I look for my shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that makes me better than anybody. Cause like, I don't, I'm not better than Ninth Wonder. I'm not better than this guy. I'm not better than that guy. I know I'm very, very self-aware, but it's the thrill of the hunt for me, man. I just like hunting. I like finding and seeking and, going not so much record stores anymore, because record stores have become tourist traps. Like record stores are now like $1, like a Rod Stewart records is like $5.99. You're like, yo, this is a
50-cent record. You know what I mean? Like, this is trash. Like, you know what I mean? And now there's like kids that it's been gentrified where it's like kids will buy it. They'll buy like a classic rock record. It used to be like $1 and now it's like $50 million and they'll mount it on their wall, won't even play it. Right. Or like, oh, I'm an arts and crafts person, so I'm going to take all vinyl and I'm going to turn the whole room and it's going to be a design. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so dispensable now. You know, it's like no one really gives a fuck about it. And then, but there's all these like sample packers and people like this and people on shit like one of my boys did this. Like, I posted something, he Shazams the sample. I'm like, bro, just accept the mystery, man. Just accept just enjoy it. Like, he called me on it and I said straight up, I was like, no snitching, man, stop. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, man. Like, these sample pack guys, man, that's killing me. And the thing is really gonna be the end to where I don't fuck with probably most platforms is this whole like whose sample has been acquired by Spotify. Did you hear about that?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, so when that happens, man, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, man. I'm just gonna make fucking beats for people that live in cabins with no like, you know, with no chemtrails or whatever, you know, like people living off the grid, you know what I mean? Are gonna have to listen to my beats and like while they're making a fire, you know, like I guess that's where it's gonna go. Cause
communication.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If it's like a movie sample or something like that, I might take it from like the internet or something like that, and like incorporate it. Like, but I don't even like saying that. I feel gross saying that. I want to like burn my clothes now just saying that. So it's just like, for the most part, I would like to use a spoken word record or you know what I mean, like or something else, like a record on how to do aerobics, an aerobics record. Like, I'd rather sample that shit, you know what I mean? But I also collect DVDs though. I have a big DVD collection. So, and I buy a lot of obscure DVDs, just like with records. I like weird stuff. So, you know, I'm just a collector.
You are the custodian.
Yeah, man. But this sample purge shit is just. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it, but you know, like I said, forge ahead, keep going, keep moving, you know?
Yeah. Now, have you ever produced outside of doing loops?
Yeah, of course. I have a whole bunch of instrumental projects that I put out. One was crowdsourced where I did it on like GoFundMe and a bunch of people put it up, and it's nothing but like, I mean, you're talking about loops, like you're talking about like just what is just loops, or well, no, I mean that hodgepodge that, you know, I guess that's loops too. That counts as that too as well. Even though like I chopped the samples up, the samples are chopped, but it is a drum loop. So you're right about that. So yes, I guess I am a mostly loop based person. Like, I'm not a flipper. I'm not Arab music. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's no shots to him. It's just like, that's the thing. I don't care about like being technologically advanced and how much you splice together and I didn't know that was Rick James, but you flipped it and you did it this way and that. And I'm like, nah, man, I want to hear like some weird shit, like some different shit. Like, I don't want to hear, oh, you took this and flipped it like that. And I mean, the only producer, and this is my guy from Jersey, the only dude I like that flips like samples really is Divine Drummer. I don't know if you heard of him, but like he does a lot of videos where he'll do like, he calls them re-whips, and I bought a couple of the volumes, and that motherfucker is iller than everybody. I'll put that on everything. He's iller than everybody. Like, on the production, like, he's out in Trenton, New Jersey. Divine Drummer, definitely look him up. Like, people know him. He's an OG. He was like the producer for my show when I was doing my Jersey hip hop showcases. He was the in-house producer. You know what I mean? Like he was always providing the beats for the open mic ciphers, and then he had artists too that would rock. So yeah, man. Like but other than that, like, I'm not really that into the whole like, I took this and I flipped it like that. You know, it's not really my thing. You know what I mean? I would say if you're gonna like, if it was Prince Paul and Premiere, I'm more of a Prince Paul guy.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like weird type of stuff, loops, people like people talking, like, you know, sampling, and and I'll keep it a buck, man. Like I fuck with like what was I gonna say? Oh, AI, because AI is dope, man. Like with the stems, I like the fact that you could take out like say I have a soul record, a 45 where they're talking on it, but there's music in the background, and I like run it through like an AI app, and it's just the vocals. So now I have a spoken word thing, and I'll put it over another thing. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to give you all the recipes, but like, you know what I mean? Like, AI, some of that shit is dope, you know? And it's really, I'm doing it from the records of just doing it with AI, you know? It's fun, you know? I'm not going to front, and I do a lot of my stuff on the computer. You know, everything is ran into the computer. Right now, I don't have any beat machines. That's why everything's so looped up, because it's just all loop. I'm just using Acid Pro, you know? Just like 98. Still using Acid Pro, but I was for a time. I was programming a lot of drums, doing a lot of drum stuff, and that was with the MPC 2000. And then later, my boy Sean, he gave me an SP Turbo. He said first though, this was Tony D's man. He was telling me you have to make a beat on it first, so I had to make a little janky beat, and then I got to have it, you know, because he's got an SP 1200. He does really dope beats too, and I did an entire project where I ran every single sample. I high pitched everything and ran it through the SP Turbo, and that bit crunch is no joke. You know what I mean? So I am a person. I've done a lot of stuff, man. I did an entire, like I call it the SP Turbo files, where I did the MPC and the SP Turbo, and I used them both together, you know, to do the bit crunching. But so I do straightforward beats. I have in the past, but just right now I'm in my own lane right now. And that's not my own lane, but you know, a lot of other people are in that particular lane. But
your style.
You know, that's just what I'm enjoying. That's just what I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying finding loops. There's certain people that dig, and they want to dig for drum breaks. The thing with me is, you could dig all you want for drum breaks, but then you're gonna pay like what, $25 for a record with a break that's on a Paul Nice drum library compilation, where it's like every single drum. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not gonna like turn my nose at drums, like, but that's always been my like Achilles heel. And I also feel the whole drumless rap phenomenon, that's a myth, because everything that I use has drums in it. It's just that it's a fucking band playing it. It's not me and a drum. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not adding additional programming to it. It's just like, to me, that's the brilliance of it. Finding a loop, or like a band playing the drums. Like, cause I want it to sound like a band. You know what I mean? Like, I want hip hop, like some hip hop to sound that way. Not all hip hop, but some, you know?
Yeah.
And like I said, it's that instant gratification. It's right there. It's that cheap heat. So, you know, that's where I'm at with it right now.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that I won't revert back to like doing stuff with drums and adding drums and programming and having sleigh bells as hi-hats and all that stuff. You know, that could happen too, man. I mean, people who are familiar with my catalog know that I do everything, you know.
And they can go on Bandcamp and definitely go check out and support that. Now, with your current sound, is that exactly what we're going to hear on the upcoming The Colder It Gets with Mighty Theodore?
Yo, that is not it. It's very loop based, but it's so different, man, because he approaches like this is like the proudest situation I've had. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, man, like, I'm really happy about it, because a lot of times, like, I do stuff now. I'm so lazy that I won't even mix half the stuff. Well, that's also because I don't have like all the plugins. But with Mighty Theodore, man, I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, man, that album is just it. I listen to it all the time. And this is like the unmixed version or the pre-mixes. And so I feel like Ralphie waiting for like Christmas Story to open up his gift. You know what I mean? Like the Red Ryder BB gun. Like I feel like that's how I feel about this situation. And plus it has a holiday theme and I get seasonal depression and it's actually something that's got me upbeat. You know, I'm upbeat about it. And then, beautiful thing about it was sad, but it's also kind of serendipitous is the reason I know him is through a guy named June Classic. And June Classic is a super dope MC from Queens who recently passed away.
Yes. R.I.P. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so he's the one who actually, wow. Isn't that crazy? He plugged me in with Mighty Theodore, and now we're doing an album together, and that's all because of June. Like, you know what I mean? Like, talk about selfless, you know? So, yeah, man, rest in peace to that man forever, man. Like, you know, that's R.I.P. You know, that was just a great guy, man. He just would hit me up, like, on some, like, regular stuff, not even on no, like, yo, give me a beat, yo, do this for me. You'd just be like, how are you feeling? How's your, you know what I mean? I guess he sensed that maybe I was like in my feelings about life or I wasn't doing so well. And, you know, he just was always a good guy, man. So it's just terrible loss, man. He was a real one for sure. Wow. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it all comes back. It all comes back full circle, you know? Dudes like Flash, dudes like, you know what I mean? Like doing June, when he connect, the way everybody just connected somehow, it just all gets connected. And I don't forget people. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those dudes. Like when I get on, like I'm gonna be like, nah, and you know what's crazy? A lot of people are trying to expunge me from history. You know what I mean? And that's the funny part where all I try to do is put people on. There's actually, I'm not going to get too deep into it. I'm just going to give you an abridged version. There's actually people who take my music off the internet because they have a problem with me.
Oh my God. Really?
Try to like, I don't know, like that's their way of trying to like blackball me or whatever. But, and then I have there's just like a whole circle. I don't know if it's like a secret cabal, but there's just people that just don't fuck with me. Or maybe that's the free market. The free market just doesn't fuck with me. So I have to be like realistic about everything. You know what I mean? I got to be realistic. I can't just be like, yo, man, I'm not on because of this and that. But yo, I had a screen grab. I remember this was like 10 years ago. You were saying, don't sleep on TCOR. Like, you know, on Twitter. I saved that. I was like, yeah, at least he likes me. You know what I mean? So, you know, I remember you too. So it's not like, you know what I mean? I'm not a phony. You know, I'm the genuine article, man. Like this is like, I'm just trying to be as honest as possible, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this album, I'm really looking forward to it. It's coming out on UrbNet Records, which is a prominent Canadian label, which puts out like OGs like Mocha Only. You're familiar with him. You should definitely get familiar with the back catalog of Mighty Theodore. He did. I feel like he's dropped nothing but classics. So I feel like we got I got big shoes to fill. But the thing that I'm like with this, I'm thinking this is like Tiny Desk NPR levels, like the type of stuff we did and the way that he animated the beats and made them into what they are, like the way he made the records. I'm like, this sounds like something that women who don't like hip hop would like. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how much I like it. Because I'm like, I feel like this is universally good music, you know?
Got you. And for those anticipating this, like he just said, go check out Mighty Theodore's previous projects, Set Out in the Dark, and also the Old Rap Language.
Yeah, definitely old rap language. Set Out in the Dark is the one with the Warriors theme, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great album, man. They're both great albums. That one was the second one was, I think the first one he produced himself, and then the second one Jazz Soon, another known producer, did.
Dope.
He did all the beats. Yeah. He's I think he's a Brooklyn cat who's based out in Philly now.
Yeah, he's in Philly now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm familiar with that. And yeah, man, I'm just happy about this. Like I'm like I told you, man, I'm jittery. Like I'm really like ready to just drink some eggnog and get ready. You know what I mean? Like put on a Santa hat. You know, it's just it because I really get sad like during this time. So it's like to be happy, to be optimistic about something is really cool. You know, and I am optimistic about this, and it may be streaming December 21st. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
But it's possibly going to be streaming. But I'm sure I believe that it's going to be a vinyl release, and it's going to come out, and everything's set up. It's a real label, you know what I mean? So they know how to do it. They're not asking me to make a OBI strip, you know. They're not, you know what I mean? Like, so he's handling it. It's his situation, and I do that a lot of times. You know what I mean? I don't know if you checked out my stuff with Noah the Flood either. But
Yep.
Yeah, that's that that's the homie there, and we got 2 mergers and acquisitions. I'm hoping there's gonna be a 3. If he's out there, you know what I mean, put out part 3. I don't know. Let's do it. I want to hear it.
Definitely. Cool.
Because I don't need to mix everything. I don't, you know what I mean? Some stuff I just leave in the hands of the MC, and sometimes I like how it sonically comes out. Like, because he, you know, with Flood, like he's not scared to like experiment with his voice and do like interesting effects and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not above having other people's, you know, input and other people's ideas and. But yeah, man, I got that. I got yeah, and then I mean, what else you want to know, man?
I think I think we're good for what you definitely spoke about today. You know, not just history, but giving your opinion on a lot of the way producers are. You know, there aren't a lot of true producers out there. You know, a lot of them out here just make a buck. Where we have a genuine person right now we're speaking with, Custy. This is him. This is his production. This is him going down the rabbit hole of artists. This is him being influenced by them to make his production and get these loops and work with people like Vic Spencer, Action Figure.
Yeah. Shout out to Action Figure. He's a Jersey artist as well. I mean, This dude is running circles around everybody, man. Like, and that's a serendipitous kind of way. The way that connected is crazy. Like, that's a whole other story, man. But I mean, I don't know. It's getting late. But like, yeah man.
Never do this again.
Where he just did a post about trying to see about getting the Ring Psychology put out on vinyl. Or he was trying to see if there's any takers, any labels. So any labels out there, I think that would be cool, man, to get that on vinyl because we got it on tape and we got it on CD. But definitely getting it on wax would be dope, you know.
Yep, definitely.
That would complete the trilogy of that, you know, the editions, and shout outs to him, shout outs to everybody who's rocking with me, you know, just.
There it is. Custy, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. I'm looking forward to hearing you and Mighty Theodore's upcoming album. And also, I'm going to say it, based off of what you've been telling us, you truly are a custodian. I'm sure there's so many other obscure things that you own that you could be speaking about as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have like a skull or anything, but I have I don't drink beer out of a skull or anything weird. Like I don't drink beer, but everything's cool. Yeah, nothing too weird. No, like stuffed beaver. Like the only time the beaver gets stuffed is when shorties. No, I'm just playing. Let me stop. But yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. And if people want to check out more music, if they want to purchase shit, more importantly, the custodianrecord.bandcamp.com, or if they want to send donations, sorry, not sorry, PayPal, FIVEROWSBACK @gmail.com. That's FIVEROWSBACK @gmail.com. 5 rows back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it through this month. So I work 6 days a week. I'm still broke, you know? So let's go.
Life and adulting, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you don't have any other shout outs, I appreciate
Well,
it.
I got a project with my man Paperface from South Plainfield. Shout outs to him. He's not a new artist. He's been doing it for a while. He's just been kind of, playing around. But now I think we got a nice little cohesive project. And if people are fans of like MF Doom and like Danger Doom and that kind of stuff and interesting kind of quirky type albums, I think this'll get you, This project we're working on is what he talks about is going to be an LP. I want it to be an EP because I like things short and sweet. You know what I mean? Like Illmatic, Intoxicated Demons. You know what I mean? I like to follow that template. Like have things. I like to do an EP. So you know what I mean? And I've actually been sitting in on every session, and there's nothing more joyous than having the opportunity to be there, telling the engineer what to mix and what to do.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, like how you want it to sound. So that's like that's when you're a true producer. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it, man. So I got a lot of stuff going on, man. I just don't want to let it all out, but and I just wanted to tell that one little anecdote story, just so it's that was a little Vlad Panda Chop, whatever Timu producer story. Yeah, I almost got signed to this guy, and but it is what it is. I like to. It's kind of cathartic for me to get it off my chest. You know what I mean? And it's no bad blood. It's nothing bad. It's no bad blood. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep moving, and I thank everybody for rocking with me. Yeah, man. My Instagram is _custodian_of_records on Instagram. And that's all I got to say, man. Sorry.
There it is. For HHDG Media Crew, we all gonna say peace.
Peace.